Zachary Levi, who originally supported Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for president of the United States and then eventually put his support behind President Donald Trump after RFK Jr. put his support behind Donald Trump, has addressed or responded to his Shazam, Fury of the Gods co-star Rachel Zegler, wishing that Trump supporters never know peace back in November. I'll roll this up over at phantompulse.com. You can find the link in the description below. So just to get you caught up, following the election of President Donald Trump in November, Rachel Zegler posted a number of posts to her Instagram stories where she decried Donald Trump and his supporters, hoping they never know peace. In one, she wrote this: "I find myself speechless in the midst of this. Another 4 years of hatred, leading us towards a world I do not want to live in, leading us towards a world that will be hard to raise my daughter in, leading us towards a world that will force her to have a baby she doesn't want, leading us towards a world that is fearful." So Rachel Zegler is not pregnant, does not have a daughter, and the idea that that President Trump, I hope he would actually ban all kinds of abortion where women are killing their own kids. That is not a world of being fearful. That is a world of hope. Nevertheless, she goes on and says, "I shouldn't be this shocked, but I am. I am heartbroken for my friends who awoke fear this morning. And I am here with you to cry, to yell, to hug, to wax poetic on how the left continues to fail us in forging a new path forward. This law should not have been, and it certainly should not have been by so many votes. I echo Ethel Kane's statement more than anything. May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace." Never know peace. Remember, she's the one saying that she's all afraid of what's happening with President Donald Trump being elected, and then she's then wishing that Trump supporters, Trump voters, and Trump himself never know peace. The projection, always, right? What do SJWs do? They lie, they double down, and they project. We see it right here with Rachel Zegler. In another post, she wrote this: "There is also a deep, deep sickness in this country that is shown in the sheer amount of people who showed up for this man who threatens our democracy. It's terrifying the number of people who stand behind what this man preaches. It is a foolish subscription to a false sense of security, of masculinity, of intelligence, of patriotism, and of humanity. There is no help, no counsel in any of them. I could go on. I won't. I feel sad. You probably do too. F this." So she's just clearly like lashing out like my 4-year-old does sometimes. In another post, she wrote, "Okay, that's all. Get it going on stage for Act 2 now. I need to get off my soapbox before I get too heated. Sending love to everyone who needs it today. May we all carry each other through the worst and hold these politicians accountable. Your Dem govs just got very important. They already were, but hey, follow your governors, hold them accountable. Local government is where we will make real change. This is not the end ever. I will love through these 4 years as best I can. F Donald Trump." So, I mean, again, these people just straight up lie to you. I will love through these 4 years as best I can, and then literally says F Donald Trump. And again, this is being posted alongside another post that says that if you're a Trump supporter, you're a Trump voter. I hope you never know peace. That's really love, right? You're really loving right there, Zegler. Just a straight up liar. So Levi has now announced or has now responded to these comments from Rachel Zegler. He spoke to Variety about his new production company he's launching in Austin, Texas, and was asked about Zegler's posts, given he supported and voted for Donald Trump. Levi said, "I am one of those people, obviously, but I think that what we have got to recognize that a lot of times people's decisions are predicated upon the bad information that they're being fed on a regular basis. So should I hate her because she's downstream of all of these voices that are telling her that he's Hitler and the people who vote for him are Nazis? She's a really talented girl, and I do think that she wants the best for the world deep down." So obviously being very diplomatic there in the face of her absolute nasty comments. I think it shows his character there, and I applaud him for this. I probably am a little harsher, obviously, in my responses to Rachel Zegler. I think she's old enough to be able to inform herself and come to the realization that all of these voices that are telling her that he's Hitler and the people who vote for him are Nazis is an absolute and utter lie. I think there is so much evidence that shows that I think at this point some blame has to be laid at her feet. So I wouldn't be like Zachary Levi trying to lay the blame on all of these voices that are telling her that he's Hitler and the people who vote for him are Nazis. She is a grown adult, and she can indeed think for herself. And it's not just her attacking Donald Trump, too. We've seen her attack other people that are opposed to woke ideology. I mean, she was going after Jeremy Renner, had all kinds of nasty things to say about him. She engaged in the cancel mob, the cancel campaign against Gina Carano as well. I think she knows exactly what she's doing. And at some point, we have to recognize that your actions are a reflection of your character. And we need to be able to call that stuff out rather than trying to deflect blame. And I think there's plenty of evidence that Rachel Zegler knows exactly what she's doing. And I think she knows that a lot of that what she is actually promoting is indeed evil. And there's plenty of evidence that shows that all of this stuff is evil. You just have to... You have to recognize that. But I think she doesn't want to recognize that either to some degree. But I do think she knows a lot of times what she's doing is wrong. Her attacks on Jeremy Renner, her attacks on Gina Carano, obvious examples of that, in my opinion. So while Levi is being a little bit diplomatic, I think he probably could have been a little bit harsher, honestly. Sometimes we need some harsher voices out there to maybe get people to indeed wake up and realize what they're doing is indeed wrong. Sometimes it takes a hard hit to actually get you to come back to reality. And I think Rachel Zegler has clearly been living in a delusional world for a extraordinarily long time. And again, we haven't really seen any evidence that she's kind of changed her opinions whatsoever. Even promoting the Snow White film, she seemed to double down on a lot of this absolute nonsense that she has been promoting over the last couple of years or so. Elsewhere in the interview, Levi also shared that there are a number of people in Hollywood who have made it clear that they refuse to work with him. He said, "I know that there are people that would prefer not to work with me now because of my opinions. My team has let me know. They haven't given me any specific names, but there are people who prefer not to work with me at this time. And it's unfortunate," he continued. "I knew that was probably going to happen. I didn't make this decision blindly or casually." So obviously, I think we've seen that. We kind of know what's going on in Hollywood. Clearly, the Walt Disney Company blackballed Gina Carano after they, in my opinion, unjustly fired her. And she has struggled to get jobs since then. And clearly, anyone that is kind of leans to the right politically, which isn't even on the right, let's be honest. Zachary Levi, I wouldn't describe him on the right. I would describe him, he's still probably likely on the left. We've just kind of moved a lot of that stuff. So it looks like you're in the center because the left are absolute insane now when they think that men can become women. That's how far the conversation, the rhetoric has gone, which was absolutely unthinkable just a decade ago. While Levi revealed a number of people do not want to work with him over his views, he also shared that a number of people privately praise him for his stances. And just to go back to that point, that is also how they try to convince people to buy into a lot of this stuff. And not only are they trying to get people to buy into this stuff by moving the what you call the Overton window, but they're also trying to get people who are obviously opposed to some of these absolutely insane things that they are pushing to stay silent, so there aren't actual voices to speak up. And that goes back to my criticism of Levi's comments there. I think he should have been a little bit harsher, and I think it lets other people know, hey, what this person is doing is wrong, and you get other people to speak up. And I do think that has a lot of power, and I think we saw a lot of that finally start to come to fruition with the election of Donald Trump here in 2024 after all the madness with Joe Biden. And then obviously we saw Elon Musk start to speak up as well. Eventually took over X, and I think that was a huge kind of shift in how people were willing or less afraid to speak the truth. So I do think that has a big role to play. So back to this right here. While Levi revealed a number of people do not want to work with him over his views, he also shared that a number of people privately praise him for his stances. And this goes to the point where people are afraid, right? He says, "I know it to be true because I've gotten messages from lots of people who I won't name, but who were very grateful to me for taking the stand that I took. And also they would tell me, I want to do that, but I'm so afraid." And I would tell them, listen, you're on your journey. I'm on my journey. You've got to keep trusting God. 100% agree with that. And if you feel compelled to step out in that way, then do it boldly and know that you're going to be okay. And if you don't feel that conviction yet, then don't. It's all good. I absolutely disagree with that right there. I think we should be always trusting in God and know that he has counted all the heads on our hair. He knows us, and we need to be putting our full trust in him. And I know that's extraordinarily hard. I still struggle with that myself, but that is something that we should indeed be doing, and we need to be speaking out the truth, and we need to be doing that. We shouldn't be giving people advice that they shouldn't be out there boldly proclaiming the truth. They should. Now, is there prudence in there? For sure, but I do think that we shouldn't be advising people not to speak the truth if they don't feel convicted yet. I just don't agree with that at all. We need more people to be out there speaking the truth. Well, there are some people who might prefer not to work with me anymore. There's a lot of people on that side of the political spectrum who are even more inclined to hire me and want to do business with me because I need some people who voted another way. They see that what I did was at great risk, and they were like, you know what? I give you a lot of props for that because that's not an easy thing to do, and I go appreciate that. So that is interesting that he's saying that there are seemingly people in Hollywood now that are trying to hire people who did indeed speak out against a lot of this woke nonsense, insanity, and they're willing to hire people that did that, even though they've been blacklisted for the most part from most major Hollywood production companies, places like Sony, like Disney, like Universal, like DC, etc. But that is what Zachary Levi had to say. That was his response to Rachel Zegler, and a little bit more commentary there on kind of the state of Hollywood and not towing the woke political line. And I think that still is, to a certain degree, still the case, right? People are still having to toe this line. I was watching a Pop Culture Crisis video where they were talking about how a Watch Mojo top 10 list was originally titled top 10 films that like went woke and went broke or something like that. And they got a bunch of negative feedback, and they ended up changing the title anyways. And I disagreed with what Brett and Mary were saying about how this is actually like a vibe shift because they actually came out with that title. And I was like, no, it's not a vibe shift whatsoever. They're maybe testing the waters a little bit, but clearly they still kowtowed and caved, and that fear is still alive. And well, that cancel culture hasn't gone away. It is still there. And that is something that I've been trying to point out for quite some time now, but people keep trying to tell me that woke isn't going away, but it clearly is still there. And Zachary Levi providing evidence of this, saying that there are literal people in Hollywood that will not work with him because of his political views. I mean, that's what he is saying. He still is canceled by these people because of his political views. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always, always speak the truth.
Why would you be afraid of the people? Why are you not afraid of God instead of man?